Hello, it's time to talk about week 2. Each week I'll post a brief list of the content and assignments for the week. Full details and supporting documents are in the content module for the week. I recommend starting with the weekly overview video and will link to it in the announcement. I've arranged the weekly modules by content and assignments. I recommend reviewing the assignments first and then the content. Knowing what you have to do with the content primes your brain to focus while you review the content. Essentially, you've given your brain a mission. This week, we start with the first chapter of Asking the Right Questions, the benefit and manner of asking the right questions. I have uploaded the first chapter to D2L in case you don't have the textbook yet. The second reading is from our other text, Choosing and Using Sources. As you review chapters from this text, be aware the text was developed by librarians at Ohio State University for their students, so you'll see some references to Ohio State resources and services. It's an open access textbook, so anyone can read it and adapt it. In fact, I'm working with one of the other librarians who teaches LIB 280 to adapt Choosing and Using Sources and a Critical Thinking Open textbook into one free open access textbook for our students. I want to get this out in the open right away. In this class, I don't want to change your opinions or beliefs on topics. This class has an external and an internal focus. 1. You will learn how to identify the argument an author or speaker is making along with the reasons and evidence they use. 2. You will have a better understanding of why you hold the beliefs and opinions that you have. Critical thinkers are skeptical, but not to the point where they don't believe anything. They don't accept or reject arguments and ideas blindly. Critical thinkers are aware of their own biases and they learn to compensate for them by seeking out information from other perspectives. I want you to learn to recognize when an idea is supported by credible evidence and when there is only an appeal to your emotions. I want you to resist the urge to think in terms of right or wrong, or black and white, and that there's only one right answer to difficult issues. Tentative opinions and decisions are okay, and they're often the only reasonable stance. As you gather more information, you can change your opinion. The title of the textbook gives this away, but our class will explore questions that will help you learn more about a topic. Critical thinking questions are not about tearing down the arguments of others. They're about moving conversations forward by knowing much more about what we do and don't know than when we began. Fair warning, however, that sometimes asking questions can annoy people. You want to ask in a way that is more, tell me more about this, rather than, why did you do that? You have 2 assignments this week. The first is quiz number 1. Access to this quiz starts on Monday, January 20th, and the quiz is due by 11:59 p.m. on Monday, January 27th. If you decide to use one of your 3 tokens to submit this quiz late, access to the quiz ends Monday, February 3rd. I have chosen to give you tokens to use at your discretion because I know students sometimes don't feel comfortable asking for extensions or that it's possible to ask at all. I've linked to the quiz in the Week 2 module. Quiz number 1 has 10 multiple choice questions, and I've posted the questions for you. This is not a timed quiz. I once took a stats class online with weekly timed quizzes, and I don't want you to feel that kind of stress. Your first journal post is due this week by Monday, January 27th at 11:59 p.m. There's an assignment folder for the journal entry, and I've linked to it in the Week 2 module in D2L. Similar to the quiz, access to the assignment folder ends on February 3rd. Choose the question that interests you the most, and in a separate document, write a 200 to 400 word reflection on the question. For more information on journals, read the journal guide and watch the journal overview. Be sure to post any questions in the questions forum. Enjoy the week.